Would have been going off. It's John's.
Listen easy.
You don't know, turn it on. Taking home
The
to
other day when you said
the,
that's your phone, it wasn't my phone. I thought you said, is that your phone case? I said, yes, this is my phone. It wasn't my phone ringing.
I kept hearing a vibration.
Who would like to lead the pledge tonight?
I'm already standing out to it.
Who would like to do the pledge statement? Yeah. Lead the pledge?
Big Christmas.
Pictures of my flower.
Are your own tree yet?
Should have taken my flowers.
She didn't, I went to the.
But I just walked back and watched it. So I was
Filled it out.
Crazy day. Yo, so, yeah.
This was TA.
Where's your home today?
I know, mine too.
Crazy, man. This is freaking.
Hey, what time is y'all's trunk or treat?
5:30 or something.
So are the teachers like
Decorating their trunks.
they're walking along the, okay, so we're give the candy to that teacher too.
Because it's like,
Well, they're taking them all in the office and then we're just gonna split them. So 50% for whoever's gonna
just start getting, okay, talk about it, great.
And his teacher calls me today because he's like, did they know that his teacher probably was like intellectual disabilities?
That's the thing.
Realistic.
Didn't they have a arrow that says, go to the middle school? Yeah.
He's 7 years old. And we try to catch him. He's never, like, he's gonna be on maybe the 1%.
Yeah.
Lives to be best.
It's 7 o'clock and we do have a quorum present. We appreciate each and every one of you being here this evening. Thank you very much. John is going to lead us in the pledge and Jan will read the mission statement for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas pledge.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, John.
Board mission statement. Tulsa Midway Independent School District educates every student to be a lifetime learner, a person of integrity, and a positive contributor to society.
Thank you, Jan. Public comment. The next item on the agenda is the public comment. Before we begin, I remind audience members of the board's procedure for handling public comments as found in Board Policy BED Local. Because this is not a regular board meeting, public comments are available to members of the public who wish to address a meeting item are limited to discuss of items on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wants to speak during the public comment and must sign up prior to the start of the meeting and list the agenda item subject they want to discuss. Each public comment speaker will be allowed a maximum of about 3 minutes to address the board. Any public testimony speaker who is speaking to a translator will receive up to 5 minutes to address the board. If you have signed up for an item not on tonight's agenda or speaking on a non-agenda item, you will be disqualified from speaking at tonight's meeting and may speak at the next regular board meeting or anytime the subject is listed on a board meeting agenda. The public addressing tonight's agenda items Allow all speakers to have signed up before the start of the meeting to address the board regarding an item on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments or criticisms civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. Last, we ask that you not discuss students who are not your own child. Yelling, inappropriate, uncivil, or discriminatory comments will not be permitted. I also caution you that your public comments should not complain about individual school employees by name or position, or other than your own child. Identify students pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, 551.0821, and 551.082. As presiding officer, I'm obligated to determine whether a person addressing the board has attempted to administratively resolve any complaints or grievances about which they want to address the board that involve district officers or employees. In the event your comments, in the judgment of the presiding officer, constitute a complaint or a charge against an employee or an officer, it may be necessary for me to interrupt and ask to stop and direct you to proceed with the school district's formal grievance procedure, or to have items heard in executive session depending on the nature of the complaint. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process, which can be found online, included in policies DGBA, FNG, and GF. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central administration office. Thank you. Our first speaker will be Melinda Arriaga.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing us to have public comment tonight. Even though it's not on record per se, I did just want to say thank you to Dr. Fernandez for the time that he did spend here at Toloso Midway. I think that he really brought to light what it would look like if we continued on the journey of becoming and continuing to be a campus of choice and a district of innovation. I want to thank him for opening our eyes to things that have probably been going on for a while, and maybe we just ignored before because that's just always the way it is. I want to say that I hope that when the search does begin for a new superintendent, that the things that the parents and the people of this district want are taken into consideration. Previously, when y'all brought on Dr. Fernandez, y'all had a vetting process. People were happy with it, people weren't happy with it. There's been all these decisions, but in all of this, the true focus of our school district has been taken away. Concentrating on our teachers' health and well-being and our students' happiness and education has been totally taken away. And it's unfortunate. And at this point, we have to just get back on track and get it into gear. So I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Fernandez and anybody that he has brought on and giving us a glimpse of what it would look like to have this century superintendent. And hopefully y'all can make that decision to find someone who is like him in the way that it will continue to chug along and continue to make this, again, the district of choice and as a district of innovation. And I want to thank you guys for igniting this fire into some people who have never thought to run for school board before to consider doing it. So thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Cindy Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Gonzalez. At last week's meeting, the board discussed in closed session deliberations regarding the employment status of the superintendent, possible resignation agreement, and with the superintendent, or possible proposed termination of the superintendent employment contract. Nowhere on the agenda was there an option for reinstatement. When I asked the board what proof they had regarding Dr. Fernandez's wrongdoings, Mr. Mostello replied the investigation is still ongoing and could not be discussed. I was clearly not referring to TEA's investigation of the district, I was referring to the reasons that led to Dr. Fernandez's leave of absence and proposed termination or resignation agreement. Now, 1 week later, we are here so the board can deliberate a proposed superintendent resignation agreement without proof being given to parents or teachers. This tells us that in your mind, it was already made up that he is not coming back. You were never considering reinstating Dr. Fernandez. How is it that you can deliberate a proposed resignation agreement when parents have not been told the reasons the board is proposing Dr. Fernandez resign? Once again, transparency is key. Transparency is what our community deserves. And once again, the board is not being transparent. This is very disappointing to many parents, teachers, staff, administrators, and students. If you hired someone that was not good for our district, that mistake is on you as a board. Why should parents, teachers, staff, admin, and students have to pay the price? Literally pay a price for your mistakes. As a board, you are spending money frivolously. Teachers could be getting a raise with the money you are throwing away. It is not your money to do with as you please. According to the agenda item, you are proposing buying out Dr. Fernandez's contract, all the while paying an interim superintendent to do a job Dr. White is more than capable of doing and should be doing. You are spending our students' money. You are spending our teachers' pay raises to pay for your mistakes. As I have expressed, transparency is vital. Transparency is what we as a community need to vote for in 2022. Thank you.
It's an employment issue. It's something that we can have to vote. Sonia Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, my name is Sonia Martinez, and I have 2 boys that attend TM High School. You as a school board have unfairly managed to push out the superintendent that you all voted for no apparent reason than possibly personal reasons. Once the superintendent made you aware of allegations of possible grade alterations at the high school in the past and allegations of unfair student rankings due to special class offerings offered to some students in the past, 4 of you on the board voted to place the superintendent on leave. Why did 4 of you vote to place the superintendent on leave? Because you took this discovery of allegations personal and chose to retaliate against him. You also took advantage of the timing because TEA had made it public that an investigation on these allegations was taking place, therefore purposely misleading the community and the media on why TEA was investigating aforementioned allegations. TEA was not investigating Dr. Fernandez. TEA was investigating the allegations of grade altering and special treatment to students to improve their ranking. Dr. Fernandez was only doing his job and choosing to do what is right and fair for the students at TM. He chose integrity over personal interest, and 4 of you are taking it personal. Is anyone concerned on how these allegations affected many of the students at TM? Scholarships that were rightfully theirs, and they did not get them because of these possible allegations of grade alterations and special treatment of others. You cannot just turn your backs on these allegations and pretend they never came up. This is not fair to the students at TM because these allegations were not done by the students, but by staff members that may have unfairly done these allegations that are being investigated by the TEA. Unfortunately, instead of taking corrective action and working with the superintendent to remedy any wrongdoings that may have occurred, 4 school board members voted to place Dr. Fernandez on leave because you took it personal and took it out on Dr. Fernandez. This is not fair to the students of TM. In the past school board meetings, parents stood here in front of you requesting for transparency of why you voted to place Dr. Fernandez on leave. And you did not state any reasons for that at any time. Why? Because there is no reason except that you are retaliating and you can vote him out and pretend that the reasons were discussed in closed session. The school board did not even give it a second thought to reinstate Dr. Fernandez as the superintendent because it wasn't an option on your agenda last week. Therefore, there is a possible walking quorum that knows exactly what is being placed on the agenda and how they will vote. You limited the options of Dr. Fernandez's employment. Your decision to not reinstate the superintendent will cost this district hundreds of thousands of dollars because you are reaching a mutual agreement with him today, possibly, as stated at the end of last week's special meeting, as well as paying for an interim superintendent when the district has a current assistant superintendent, Dr. White, who could have stepped up during this time to take the place of Dr. Fernandez while he was on leave. That's 3 people receiving possible payment for the same job. FYI, that's taxpayers' money and could have been used for educational purposes for the students. You're going to continue to do things your way, regardless of whether it is right or wrong or the cost of it, because 4 of you are currently the majority vote and a walking quorum. But in November of 2022, the TM community will be able to choose integrity and fairness for the students at Tolosa Midway. Let's do what's right for the students at TM, because the current school board is choosing not to. Thank you.
Good job. I'll second.
Isn't here, but we will go into closed session at this time. The board will convene in closed meeting as authorized by Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code 551, or possible pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, deliberation regarding a proposed superintendent resignation agreement pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney regarding a proposed superintendent resignation agreement. Closed session item requires action. The board should take such action upon reconvening in open session 551.102. The certified agenda of closed session is maintained 551.103, and items are posted and disclosed in accordance with the law 551.104. It is 7:15 p.m. October the 6th, 2021. We're in closed session. Thank you.
The school board just came back from executive session where they've been obviously making a decision on these proposed resignation settlement for Dr. Fernandez.
News time.
So let's go ahead and show you some video right now.
It is 10:02 p.m. October the 6th, 2021. We're back in open session. There will be no action from our closed session this evening, but we will have a special call board meeting October the 11th, 2021 at 7 o'clock. It's next Monday. To discuss superintendent's employment status, possible reinstatement, possible settlement agreement, or possible proposed termination to be placed on leave, possibly with or without pay, and also to discuss the investigation of the superintendent's performance. That's next Monday. There's no further business. I have a motion to adjourn, please. Ned? Seconds. All those in favor? Motion carries. 6-0. It is 10:03 p.m. October the 6th, 2021. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
Any more from the